And I think you guys talk about he was unhateable. I think you talked to Chris
Yeah,
Rock
I
that
think Chris said that. Yeah.
yeah, everybody loved Farley. What for those who may not be as familiar with Chris Farley,
Yeah.
how would you describe?
A jolly, one of the big physical comedians, likable, lots of different funny moves, great voice, very sweet guy from Wisconsin that, tried to emulate the old SNL greats. He was a big Belushi fan, big Aykroyd fan, and Bill Murray. And, you know, when he got one time, we realized he was wearing Belushi's pants in a sketch. In the back, it says Belushi, they write it in of like whose wardrobe, and the wardrobe's been there the whole time. So we were both sort of freaking out, going, "Oh my God, these are his!" And you can find a sketch he wore these. So he kept them, and then he would wear them under his regular monster-sized pants. And and I go, I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if physically you can. And he goes, No, no, this is good luck. This is Belushi, the guy. And so we have Jim Belushi on the podcast, and that's where it got more emotional because it's his brother. Now, this is one of my best friends, and all of us that we talked on the show, we're very close to him. But when you get Jim talking about his brother John and how John was Chris's idol, and Jim had to shake Chris and say, "You can't. You're going to die. You can't do this. This ended badly for my brother, and I don't want it to happen again." And people that are on addicted to things and all that. People say, "Why don't you help them?" I mean, I spent years. It just they resent you at a certain point, so it leads to friction. But Jim was very sweet actually to come on and dig because it got emotional with him, of course.
Yeah, and I know you've talked about that it's like, hey, you saw it happening in front of you, but
Yeah.
it didn't matter. Like
No, I
Chris
mean,
wasn't going to listen to you.
and he said, like Jim said, John Belushi, who people, if they don't know Chris, they really don't know John. He was just another great that we grew up with that we couldn't believe. So cool and funny. And when he had a different set of friends at the end, and I think was part of the disconnect with all of us with Chris. If even Adam would go see him, he's like, he was with a couple guys I didn't know. That's what happens.
Oh yeah.
You just have when we would walk down the street and someone would go, "Hey," and it's like 1 a.m. We have to work the next morning, and on the streets in New York, people are like, "Spade, Farley, hey, have a drink with us," and he'd go, "Okay," and we're like, "Oh," and then even the people were like, I was sort of kidding," and then he climbs over the little bear, "Hey, let me scoot over," and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll see it work," and he would get mad if you didn't finish your drink. Like we'd be at a table, and he would block me and go, "You finish that goddamn drink." I go, "Of course, we're working in 6 hours. I'm already drunk." No. And so he'd go around the table and just slam everybody's drink and then leave. And I go, "Okay, we have a situation here."